Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we have the second sneak peek and the final sneak peek for the upcoming mid-month update, and it has nothing to do with Fear itself or Miss Marvel Kamala Khan. It has, or even Inhumans for that matter. It is Sunbird and Blue Dragon, which is a humongous surprise. Blue Dragon, there was some hints in the game files that some skills had been changed, but there were also skill changes for Black Widow, and it can be a little bit confusing to really figure out what's what and what's sort of a misnomer or red herring or whatever. So, but this is huge. There was nothing for Sunbird at all. Obviously, when you think of Blue Dragon and you think of the Warriors of the Sky in MFF, because they're only in the game for now, you obviously assume that all four of them are going to be featured in something since they were released together in January of 2020. Yes, it's been already over 2 years since they were introduced to the game. But yeah, seeing them back to back like this is pretty crazy. Now let's take a look at the sneak peek here. It's actually a really good sneak peek. Again, the MFF 3D team is dropping the gritty 24/7 with these crazy 3D animated sneak peeks. I love it. If only the rest of the game were as polished and high quality as this. I'm half serious. Obviously, there's more to the game than just the looks. There has to be, you know, balances, and you know, there has to be creativity, and there has to be rewards, and there has to be incentives, and sort of, you know, progress schemes and stuff like that. But yeah, this sneak peek's pretty sick, man. It looks like very high quality. It's Blue Dragon looking like a whole meal. Looking around in the jungle. I really like the background music that they chose too. Like, all this stuff is like, they have to find, like, I guess royalty-free music. I don't know, but they find some good ass stuff. No cap. This is a sick ass sneak peek. And then Sunbird just shows up right at the end, and he's like, "Yo, what up, fam?" And he's got massive wings. And you can get a early sneak peek if you enhance his, like, if you zoom in and enhance on him, you can get an early look at what he looks like. So these are brand new uniforms. This is the first time these characters are ever getting uniforms. They're at the temple that I guess she guards. They actually said it in the sneak peek. They said the defenders of East and South have returned to Marvel Future Fight, right? Because each one of the Warriors of the Sky represents a cardinal direction. The Warriors of the Sky, check out the powers of the tenacious draconic warrior, that's Blue Dragon, and the passionate pirate, that's Sunbird, who defend the Moon Temple. Yeah, I don't know if that's the Moon Temple. They might have messed up on that. I think they all defend the Moon Temple because it has something. It does. I think it kind of ties into Crescent and Io. I'm having a bit of trouble remembering their initial lore. But yeah, that looks like. I mean, that could still be a Moon Temple, but that's Blue Dragon's symbol, and that's some sort of door there. I'm not exactly sure. We will announce more details through the patch details. So that's it. So the patch notes, unless there's a surprise for Shadow Shell and War Tiger, we're not going to be seeing them in this update. For those of you that are wondering, of course, the Warriors of the Sky, they're all transcended. They were the very first characters to get transcendences back in January of 2020. But yeah, nothing yet for War Tiger, who honestly has a super cool drippy design. I love his gauntlets, and I love the scythe and the shoes. But again, these characters didn't see that much adoption from the community because they are original to the game in the sense that they haven't been in comics for years, and they haven't sort of built up a fan base outside of the game. But I really love their designs. I wasn't a huge fan of the execution for how they were brought to the game, and of course we saw that in the coming months where they had to fix Transcendence and change it around. It wasn't even called Transcendence back in the day, it was just called Awakening. But it's basically just like an offshoot of Tier 3. Also, really love Goth Mommy Shadow Shell. I really like the designs. Danny Koo is responsible for them, and we can actually see that over on Twitter, where he mentions very specifically. So here's the tweet here. Sunbird and Blue Dragon are here. The Warriors of the Sky are ready to protect the world in all new costumes. And then Danny Koo himself, who has been dropping some different drawings that people thought were teasers, which is really funny, for Luna Snow and some others. He posts this one 7 hours ago, just a little bit after the sneak peek. The sneak peek was actually quite late on Twitter. It was on time on the website. It was at 11, but then it was more than an hour late on Twitter. That's fine. But here we go. As the leader of the Warriors of the Sky, Blue Dragon leaps into action with her new Moon Temple costume designed by me. So yeah, not only were the characters presumably designed by Danny Koo, maybe in some collaboration, but he's also responsible for their outfits. And the outfit looks really, really good. It's not an exact one-for-one. I don't want to get picky here. It's not an exact one-for-one because as you can see, maybe, I don't know, maybe it is an exact one-for-one. It's pretty close. I gotta say, it's pretty darn close. We're not seeing her tattoos on her arm there that he's highlighted there on her left arm, but otherwise it's quite similar. I would say the staff is probably more green, or this weapon, the spear, is more green, whereas his is a little bit more blue. But yeah, it's very close to being. I guess they had a little bit more here, and he has, you know, but no, it's on the outside. No, yeah, I'm just blind. So yeah, really good drawing by Danny Koo. Holy crap, like really nice stuff. And then, yeah, we're getting it in the game. So I think that's really cool. I don't know. I know some people are not a big fan of this kind of stuff, but I think it's dope. And I think we're really lucky to have this kind of input from people that, like actual people at Marvel, to you know, help us flesh out the lore of these new characters. You know, and who knows, like in 5-10 years, you could be seeing these characters in movies and stuff. And then people are gonna be like, yo, what game are these characters from? And then they kind of go backwards to Marvel Future Fight, if Marvel Future Fight is still around in 5-10 years. That's a big if, but yeah, that'd be pretty funny there. As far as Blue Dragon and Sunbird go, they have zero relevance in the meta right now, so that both of them getting their first uniforms would be huge, especially considering, like I said, they're over 2 years old at this point. Now, part of the reason why I wasn't a big fan of the Warriors of the Sky when they were introduced to the game is because the way they were introduced was essentially highlighting Alliance Conquest and really pushing their synergy as a team. And while their synergistic team properties can also be used for other PvP game modes, there have basically been, you know, there have been fewer PvP updates in the 2.5 years since the Warriors of the Sky came to the game than there are Warriors of the Sky. That is to say, in a roundabout way, there have been less than 4 upgrades to PvP content in Marvel Future Fight in the last 2.5 years. So 30 months and less than 4 upgrades to PvP. So, you know, as I always say, when the game wants to focus on characters that are seen as representative of one piece of content or another, in this case, you know, Sunbird allows all of the Warriors of the Sky to revive, which is, again, a really cool ability and very niche, and sort of encourages you to build up the full Warriors of the Sky team, which I really like. You know, Asgardian passive buffs, or whatever, Dark Avengers passive buffs that encourages you to build up Moonstone and Green Goblin and these other characters, right? Like, I like these kinds of thematic buffs. Her leadership only applies to the Warriors of the Sky, gives them debuff, gives them all attack. Of course, Shadow Shell gives Warriors of the Sky, what is it here? Damage reduction and all defense. So you can see the synergy working really, really well. However, the synergy failed for 2 reasons. One, they didn't give anything to War Tiger. He has no synergistic properties, so he's left out. 2, like I said, they haven't upgraded PvP. So I'm really hoping to see them, if they want to continue focusing on PvP characters, I need them to, like, I really need the devs to acknowledge that if they're making these PvP characters, like they made Hulk, like they made Juggernaut, like maybe they tried to make Titania with all these counterattacks and ignore iframe and yada yada yada, they have to upgrade the PvP game modes, right? You got to put a fresh coat of paint. It's 2022. Timeline Battle's been around for 6 years. Alliance Conquest has been around for 6 years. You got to upgrade these game modes a little bit. You got to bump up the rewards a little bit, the crystals, whatever. You've got to, you know, give us a reason here, right? Because people are going to be looking at Sunbird and Blue Dragon and they're like, wow, this is a really good 1-2 punch. This combo, like, even if they don't necessarily give them PvP skills, like the fact that he gives both of them revive is huge, right? He doesn't just give himself revive, he gives her revive. So just putting Blue Dragon and Sunbird on the team at the same time means you're going to have to kill each one twice. That's 4 lives. What if I put Dr. Doom in the back? Or what if I put Adam Warlock in the back? You kind of see where this is going, right? So that's really good for PvP. That's always going to be good. Revive is always going to be good for PvP. But again, if you guys aren't buffing the game modes, right? Like, of course, you buff some other characters, and people get it so excited because you're buffing World Boss Legend, and you're introducing these World Boss Legends, right? Oh, man, you guys gave Loki a new uniform. Oh, you introduced Makari and Thena and these guys, and you gave them, oh, you gave Jane Foster a new uniform. She's so good for World Boss Legend. That's interesting to players because the game mode is worth playing. If PvP is not worth playing, it doesn't matter what kind of PvP characters you give us. If the game mode's not worth playing, it's not worth playing, right? It's not about the characters at that point. You sort of, you've expired that. So I do really hope we see some buffs there, some improvements there to those game modes. They could also be for PvE. There's also obviously the possibility that they're both tier 4s. Now, I don't want to jump to that conclusion that they're both tier 4s, although it's somewhat likely that they're both going to be tier 4. On the other hand, it's somewhat likely that they're not going to be both tier 4, because seeing 3 tier 4s now would be a huge ramp up. That would be very, very fast. Not to mention the fact that there isn't a clear-cut tier 4 sneak peek. There isn't a clue here that really indicates tier 4. The best one that we have, I think, is some people saying that this is the T, which it's just a palm tree, and then this is the V, and so this is the number 4 in Roman numerals, right? IV, sorry, this is not the T, it's an I, but yeah, so IV. And then I guess it's IV, and then it goes over to her, so she's going to be the tier 4. I don't know. Again, this is a really makeshift theory here. If someone has a better theory, I'd love to hear it. But I've watched this video a dozen times, and I haven't seen any. Like, even the flame here, there's only 3 flames. There should actually be 4 if you look at the, like, symmetry, but you can't actually see 4. You really kind of see 3. So again, if they were really hinting tier 4, there's 3 notches here carved into the stone. Again, if they really wanted to hit tier 4, it would be more obvious than this, right? The tier 4 sneak peeks lately have been quite subtle, but not this subtle, right? This is a little too subtle. Oh, look, guys, if you count the white patches on the branch, no. If you look at the bark, this bark is actually from an ancient deciduous tree that is called a Deca 4. And so Deca 4, if you take the D and you superimpose it on the moon when it's waxing, you'll see. No, see, we're going like, all right, get the James Webb telescope because it's time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be tier 4. They might not. If they are, I'm gonna be looking squarely at Sunbird as the best tier 4 in the game, the best speed tier 4 in the game. Excuse me. Like, if he gets tier 4, I'm gonna be looking and hoping to compare him to Makari and hopefully see that he's better, right? So he's got big shoes to fill in that case. Blue Dragon, I don't want to see another Blast tier 4. I don't want to see a third Blast tier 4, but it's possible. I don't know. So yeah, I didn't want to make too big of a fuss out of that during the video. I just want to sneak it in here at the end because I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, lots of speculation. We'll have to wait and see for tomorrow's patch notes to find out what the devs are cooking up this time. But yeah, we're getting 3 uniforms and a tier 3, so it's a pretty nice mid-month update. The updates are definitely a little bit bigger than they've been in a long time, right? I think all year this is probably the biggest regular and mid-month update we've gotten, right? We had 4 uniforms, 3 good transcendences, and a good tier 4, and now we're getting a good tier 3 with a new uniform, and 2 new uniforms for existing characters that are quite bad. So we're getting a lot of buffs for bad characters, right? Like, if you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they're buffing at least 7 characters here in one update cycle, which is very, very nice. So that much I can definitely say is good. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the patch notes. Take care.